Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news. Lots to get into this morning, in fact. Talking about new deals, talking about record breakers. Also want to do, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about in a few minutes time. We're going to talk about Tahith Chong and a few of the loan lads, because I tell you what, some of them are doing a really good job, and we've been critical in the past that we haven't loaned players out to the right teams. And I tell you what, they're doing very, very good. Whether they've got a future at Manchester United or not, we'll have to wait and see, but really, really encouraging there. But let's start off with the big story this morning, and it is a big story. I mean, it's another development on the Pogba story, but it's Pogba's brother. Now, Pogba's brother, normally an interview with Pogba's brother about Paul Pogba is, yeah, he's definitely leaving. He can't wait to get out of that shithole. He wants to go and play for Real Madrid or PSG or Juventus or anybody else. He's leaving. He's leaving. He's leaving. That's all we ever get from his brother. But actually, what we have got here this morning is something a little bit different from him, and some might say that it's a move in the right direction in relation to maybe Pogba is going to sign this contract. Obviously, we spoke to Fabrizio yesterday, and he said, look, you know what, there's opportunities definitely there, and you know it's about finding a solution. But Paul Pogba's brother Matthias, on the contract situation, has said this to Paul has not decided yet whether to stay or not next summer. It's his decision. He's feeling very good at Manchester United now this season. Let's see when will be time to decide. So look, some would say, well, that's basically just saying that, you know, let's wait and see what happens. Let's wait and see what happens. Match day, you know, excited. Sorry. You know what? Sorry to the people with the broom up their arse who just want everything to be very serious. Can't get too excited about Man United at the moment. Sorry about that. See, but we are. I'm excited anyway. Pogba in this situation, as I said, his brother is normally quite negative. So for his brother to be saying let's wait and see, he's very happy at Manchester United at the moment. I think that's a positive. I think it's about as positive as it can be in relation to Pogba at the moment. I don't think, I mean, one thing I didn't add yesterday, because we spoke to Paul Ince, we spoke to Fabrizio Romano, we were going through a lot of comments. We've got the comment from his brother here, we've got the comments from Ollie last night saying we can only do what we can do. My reading of this situation, for what it's worth, and some people don't think it's worth very much, I understand that. My reading of this situation, from what I've heard and from what I'm reading, I still think he'll wait till the end of the season to sign a contract, whether it's at United or Real Madrid. I personally think, as of now, and a lot of things can change, as of now, he will either sign a new contract at Manchester United or he will go for Real Madrid, because that's somewhere he's not been and he wants a new challenge and he wants to try something new, and they'll offer him really good money. But I still think United have got a good chance. I just don't think that... I'd be stunned if Mino Raiola and Paul Pogba went, yeah, let's sign a contract in September, October, November. They'll definitely get to January and see what's on offer from clubs that they can do pre-contract agreements with. If we can get him to sign a new contract before January, we're going to be paying a lot of money. But we're going to have to pay a lot of money anyway. So let's wait and see. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm like Himanshu, it's 50-50. Oh, actually, should we do a percentage on that? Okay, I might upset people here, but I still personally think that because so much is in the air and we don't know whether we're going to have a good season. We're saying everything's happy and great now, it is, but what about come January, we're out of a title race, you know, we're not doing particularly well. He's going to go, isn't he? So I think for me, this is about how well we do this season. And I think it's about the platform we provide for the next 4 years, because this is his final contract. So at the moment, I'd still say I'm 70% sure he'll leave, 30% sure he'll stay. But the positive with that is that if you'd have asked me in the summer before Ronaldo came in and before Varane came in, I would have said I'm 90% sure he's going to go next summer. So it's coming down. And yeah, I'd say 70% sure he's going to go at the moment, but it's coming down. And if we can get to 50-50 and beyond, we just got, it's like Ollie said, we just got to keep doing what we're doing. We just got to keep doing what we're doing. We've got to keep that buzz going and see what happens with there. See! Time to see! Anyway, we'll see what happens. Alien says he's 99% sure he's staying. Right, okay. Let's wait and see what happens with that. Anyway, next story. So that's Pogba. As we know, we're working on 3 new deals at the moment. Bruno's deal's being worked on. Didn't really get picked up on by a lot of people yesterday. Silverware and Pogba stays, says JP. Yes and no, JP. Thanks for the super chats, by the way. You can do that through the $sign. We'll be reading those out as ever. Yes and no. If we win the Carabao Cup, I don't think that's going to be Pogba's life dream. If we win the Champions League or we win a Premier League, he might that might be, I agree. I think that's all you can do. But even then he might go, you know what, I've been here 6 years, I've won the Premier League, I want another challenge. And if he wants another challenge, there's nothing we can do. I think we've just got to be relaxed about it and try and focus on, if we do what we do well, then the rest of it will take into account what happens after that. Bruno, new deal. I know Fabrizio mentioned it on his interview yesterday with us, but I forgot to add in when Fabrizio said it. The reason United are doing a new contract for Bruno, he's actually got a very long contract at United, but he's rumoured to be on less than like Mata, and more or less the same as what bloody Matic is on and things like that. I think he's on about 120 grand a week. The reason United are working on a new contract is because he needs to be, if De Gea's on 350 grand a week, Bruno should be on 350 grand a week. So I think United are trying to get him on a deal that befits the talent that he is. And it could take a bit of time, but that's what we're working on at the moment. These new deals. And obviously Lingard, as we know, we're trying to work on that deal. And we'll see what happens with him. Let's move on. Cristiano Ronaldo. What a prat. Cristiano Ronaldo could be another record breaker tonight. It seems every game he's breaking one record or another. I mean, every game he scores in the Champions League he's breaking a record, because he's breaking his own record. The record for every goal he scores in the Champions League now, he's breaking a record, because he's got the record goals in Champions League football. So every time he scores, he breaks the record, because it's going up and up and up. But that's not the record he can break tonight. The record he can break tonight is Champions League appearances. He can level up with Casillas of Real Madrid, or formerly of Real Madrid. So Ronaldo playing tonight levels up with Casillas. I just cannot believe, in relation to Cristiano Ronaldo, I just cannot believe. And look, haters are going to hate. And what I always say about haters is this: whether you hate me or you love me, I'm living in your head rent free. And that's the thing with Ronaldo. Like, haters are going to hate, and you know what? I'm sure he couldn't give a toss about everyone hating on him. That he lives in his haters' head rent free. People who've got hate in their bodies, they are inadequate people, really, because actually there's lots of things I don't like. I don't particularly like mango. But if I see a jar of it, I don't start slating it, or I don't go on Twitter and have a go at it. I just walk past it in the aisle. I ignore it. People who are hating, people who are full of hate, they can't ignore it. So their lives must be really inadequate, really, because if you're so obsessed with what Ronaldo's doing, you've clearly not got much going on in your own life, have you? But in relation to Ronaldo, new jumper, have some of that, says McDaddy. I think it's pinned, isn't it, at the top? Save Australia, says Seamus Finnegan. And at the end of the season, I hope we keep Pogba and allow Cavani and one of Martial or Lingard to leave. Difficult, as I love them both. Ahmad to stay, says Drew. Oh, you know what? On that point, Drew, I want to get to that situation at United as well, where people are leaving and you're going, they're going because they're not quite good enough, but we don't hate them. We don't think they're shit or anything like that. I think in relation to Dan James, he's a player that just wasn't good enough. But there's in general, I think a lot of people are very happy for Dan James and very supportive of Dan James. He just wasn't good enough. And yeah, he was infuriating at times, but I think that's really, really good. But the reality is, in relation to Ronaldo, United player or not, I cannot believe what this man has done in the world of football. I can't believe how many caps he's got for Portugal. It's like, isn't it nearly 200 or something like that? I mean, David Beckham broke the record, I think, for England with 120 something, and Ronaldo's closing in on 200. He's not been playing like, some of these teams who play for like, I don't know, Saudi Arabia or New Zealand or whatever. Some national teams play every week, basically. And Ronaldo hasn't played every week. He's played in the most competitive leagues in the world, and yet still has so many international caps. The Champions League record he's going to take from a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers are the people that have these records because they can play for a very, very long time. Goalkeepers can start playing at 21 and still be playing quite comfortably at the highest level at 40. And Ronaldo is going to break the Champions League appearance record and take it from a goalkeeper. He's just superhuman when it comes to football, and we've got him at United. So no, I just think he's unbelievable player. And whether he's at United or anywhere else, his record in football is just stunning. So tonight, when Cristiano Ronaldo plays, because it is when, there's no way he'd be travelling to Switzerland if he's not going to play. He will break the appearance record by levelling up with, well, I suppose it's not breaking it. He levels the appearance record, but he will be breaking it in the next few weeks. But he levels up with Casillas tonight. And obviously any goals he scores, he's just breaking his own record. Do you think Ronaldo can have the same effect Cantona did on United, says Lucas? Well, I've got to get through some news, Lucas, but it is a super chat, so I will give it the love it deserves. I'm going to start calling them love chats, although they might not be very loving, so no, we won't call that. We'll call them super chats. No, I don't think Ronaldo has the impact that Cantona has, because it's not the same. Cantona came in, he'd never played for United before, he came in from Leeds, we'd not won a league title in, what was it, 25 years, something like that, 26 years I think it is, and he was the icing on the cake to take a team that just kept struggling. I don't think Ronaldo and Cantona are the same, because Ronaldo's already been here. He's already won the number 7 shirt. He's already won his league titles. He's already won his Champions League. I think sometimes we, not just United fans, but people in general, we want to attach things to the things from the past. It's security, you know. I'm terrible at Christmas in a nostalgic way. I'll put the snowman on. I'll hear those bits of the piano, and it takes me back to being a 5-year-old round at my grandparents with the fire on, and it's cold outside. I mean, and emotion, you know, it takes me back. So I understand why people want to go, oh, could Ronaldo be like Cantona? But we've already said, can Bruno be like Cantona? And the thing is, nobody's going to be like Cantona. We need to create our own memories. I'll tell you what, if Ronaldo wins as a title or the Champions League, it won't be because he's like Cantona. It will be because he's like Ronaldo. He's going to write his own book. This book of Ronaldo that will come out at some point in the future, somebody will write a great book about Ronaldo, and it will be a story, not an autobiography. And the story here is, young lad who comes from Sporting Lisbon to Manchester United, develops as a player under the greatest manager there's ever been, wins Ballon d'Or, wins Champions League, wins Premier League titles, goes off and secures his legacy as the greatest player that's, you know, ever been, arguably, and then comes back to Manchester United, who've fallen on hard times, and takes them back to the heights. That's the story. That's not like what Cantona did. Cantona's story is Cantona. So that's what I hope is going to happen. Welcome to the Members Club, Gav Jarman. If you want to do your super chats, you can do that through the $sign, and thanks for supporting us if you become a member as well. I just think we're blessed at Manchester United, and we don't need, you know, Cantona's his own legend. George Best is his own legend. Brian Robson is his own legend. David Beckham is his own legend, and Cristiano Ronaldo is his own story and legend. All number 7s, all very different. And look, we're so blessed as a football club. This is why our football club matters so much, is because we've got so many stories. We've got so many legends. Some other clubs, and I'm not going to name them, their legends are people that have basically, they wouldn't even get in our top 30. And I'm not disrespecting those clubs, but I'm sorry, but an Ian Wright, a Tony Adams, a Thierry Henry, they would be legends if they were at Manchester United. They're very, very good players. But, you know, you start dropping down to people like a Pires or a Petit and people like that. I'm sorry, very good players, but you're not getting in our top 30. We are blessed with legends at this football clubs and stories, and you know that's what makes it so great. Kartik, welcome to Members Club, thank you very much, and also thanks for the super chat from Daniel Kirk. Mark, how is Mason only 78 raids and then Saka is 83? Ridiculous EAR Prats. I will talk about that, maybe come back to that, because not everyone's into FIFA, but I will talk about that. It's a bloody joke. Some people say it's only a game, but I tell you what, it is a joke. Hi Mark, I love the channel, 21 incoming. Remind me to come back to that when we've worked our way through the news. So, what will we spoke? We've spoken about Pogba's brother, we talked about the record. Just a couple of other stories I want to talk about as well. In relation to the game tonight, very much looking forward to it. Remember, it's 6:15 kickoff UK time, so we're going to be live about 4:45 with the team news sort of thing. But it's an early one, so tea time. But I don't mind that. The only time I hate the tea time kickoffs is when it's on a Thursday. That's the Banter Cup. If it's on a Wednesday or it's on a Tuesday and it's Champions League, I'll put up with it. I don't mind it too much. And I'm just excited. I don't care if United are kicking off at midday today, do you? I'm just so excited. I'm just loving it. Absolutely loving it. And I can only applaud the club, the players, the fans and everybody else. I just feel there's a buzz around United and I hope it can continue. You know, we could sing We Are Top of the League if we want to. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. But, I'm also aware it might not last for a long time, but this is what it's all about. I mean, I can think of even when we were in the Champions League with Mourinho and Van Gaal and Moyes. I don't think we had the buzz around the club that we've got at the moment. And I think there's a real buzz, and hopefully it can continue. Is Greenwood up there with Haaland and Mbappe? We'll talk about Greenwood in a bit, Hamish. And Kartik is a member, welcome. So Delot's been talking about this. Now, maybe Delot will start tonight. I predicted he would start tonight. Let's wait and see. But he's been talking about the Champions League. And quite rightly, I liked what he said. This is why I want to bring it into the show. There are no games that are easy in the Champions League. Every team that's in it is in here by right. There are qualifying rounds, and most of the teams in the Champions League, whether they're young boys or whether they're another team that's not fashionable, whether it's a Swedish team or a French team or whatever, they've got experience in these tournaments, and there's no easy game. And I think he's right. If we win tonight 4-0, it's impressive. I don't want people to go, oh well, it's young boys. They don't get beaten 4-0 that often in the Champions League, no matter who they're playing. So this is a good test for us tonight. And I was looking at this last night, and I think that I personally think that if young boys played in the Championship, they'd probably be I think they'd be top half of the table in the Championship. So they're not terrible. Some would say they'd win the Championship. I don't know. I don't know enough. I'd listen to people in the chat about that. But it's a good test, like Himanshu says. And I think that they're a good side. And I think it's another good test for us. And as I said, it's not like we're rocking up to play MK Dons or Rotherham. We're rocking up to play a decent team with Champions League experience who will give us a bit of a game. And ultimately, it's competitive. And if Ronaldo scores a hat-trick, it's a good hat-trick for him. If Donny has a good game, it's a good game for Donny if he starts. So I'm excited about it, and I think it will be a good one. But I hope that Delot and Van der Beek start. I really hope that they do. Which brings me on to something I do want to talk about in relation to loan moves at the moment. Now, somebody quite rightly said you've not really mentioned it much, and I haven't, but I have been keeping an eye on it. Now, talking about Championship clubs, I think that the Championship is a very competitive league, and we have got Birmingham City at the moment. I think they're in like 6th or something like that. Tahith Chong at the weekend again was man of the match. Their manager came out at the weekend and was basically saying he thinks he can be a Manchester United player. He said, he got another man of the match performance. You can see what he does when he's on the ball. Derby don't know what to do with him because they played Derby, but it's the defensive work rate that really has impressed. Now, Tahith Chong is 22 in December, and he is absolutely tearing it up on loan at the moment. Do I think he's got a future at Manchester United? I mean, look at the talent we've got. We've got Diallo on loan, who's will go on loan. We've got Palestri on loan. I don't know what Palestri's done, actually. If someone wants to tell me about that, because there's so many people on loan. But I'm talking about the English loans at the moment. And Tahith Chong is doing fantastically well. He's one of the best players in the Championship at the moment. He's playing sort of off the right wing for Birmingham, who are doing very well as well. I think at the very minimum, if he doesn't stay at United, we should make about 10 million on him. I think he's an interesting player. I've always liked Chong. I just think that injury, and some people just didn't want to be a bit patient with him, but he's in the perfect league, absolutely perfect. I think with Chong, for me, it was always about the physicalities. Well, you go in the Championship, it's the Premier League for physicality. I mean, some would say it's even worse. It's such a physical, relentless league. It's the perfect place to play. If you're a winger as well, what a way to go and sort of learn your trade. The only thing with Chong is by the time he comes back to United next summer, he'll be 22 and a half. Is that a little bit too late to find your way in a United team? He'd be a lot older than Greenwood. I think he'd be older than Sancho. So, but let's wait and see. So I'm encouraged by him. James Garner's doing well as well. I mean, Forest are actually bottom of the league. I was looking at it this morning. They're bottom of the league, but he's starting every game and arguably their best player. So look, could do with climbing the league a little bit. I mean, I didn't want him to go to Derby for this reason, but the team he's in's not doing great, but he's doing okay. Ethan Laird has got into the team at Swansea. He's played the last 2 games sort of as a right wing back because they play with a back 5. I think they're 4th from bottom, but he's starting to get game time in the Championship as well. And this is the important thing with Garner. I think Garner's 20. I think Ethan Laird's 20. Obviously, Chong's 21 at the moment. All playing in the Championship, which is, you can't argue with it. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I'm not saying all of them are going to be Man United first teams, but I certainly think in the case of Garner and Laird, because they're only just 20, the pair of them, another season in the Championship, you come back next summer and Ollie's got a decision to make. Are you going to start building them out for the first team, or are they going to get sold? So interested to see what happens with those. Twansebi at Villa, obviously a little bit different. Apparently there was a story today saying that Twansebi would like to make a permanent move to Villa. I personally think that will happen. I don't think Twansebi's going to come back to Manchester United and get a chance again. I'd like to see him come back to United and get a chance again, but I think his chance had to be last year and he didn't get it. Maybe. But look, the reality is a lot of people are doing well on loan at the moment, and we'll certainly be keeping an eye on that because Chong is tearing it up. He really is. I noticed that United play huge up the pitch at Newcastle, and it appeared as if Shaw played as a CDM at times, which really works. It's Galactic Sabres UK. And Williams pocketed Pepe. Yeah, Cameron, the reason I haven't mentioned Brandon Williams is he's only just gone to Norwich, hasn't he? In fact, that's his first game for Norwich. He did play well for Norwich at the weekend, and he is playing first-team football in the Premier League. So this could be a really good loan deal for Williams. Let's wait. Same as Twansebi, if he can get himself in that Villa team, it's Premier League football. They're at a level above, really, because they're playing in the Premier League, so keep an eye on them. Palestri, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Palestri, yeah, I'd like to see Hannibal go on loan as well. I think that would be interesting, but I don't know what's going on with Palestri. Obviously, I'm not over the moon with that. But just going back to that super chat there, thanks for the super chats. You can do that through the $ Galactic Sabres UK, talking about the high line. I mean, I haven't really mentioned this when I've been doing sort of like the breakdown and talking about the way that we're playing, because it sort of came as standard when we bought Raphael Varane that we were going to play a higher line. And we have, 100%. You know, I think last season, if you see, you know, forget the personnel, but this is how we played last season. Very deep, back six. And that is how we played. I don't care what anybody said. And we ended up with this chasm of space that separated the midfield and the attack. And we had to become a counter-attacking team. We were definitely playing like that as a back six. We all saw it with McFred and obviously Lindelof a bit slower. This season, very, very different. You know, even the holding midfielders, they're higher up the pitch. The fullbacks are higher up the pitch. And you're definitely seeing this. You're definitely seeing that. And that's down to Varane. Simple as that. Varane pushes the team up. He doesn't need to... It's not an arrogant thing. He's one of the best centre-backs in the world and he's fast. And he doesn't need his hand-holding by a right-back tucking in or by two holding midfielders playing deep. And I think it's definitely made De Gea's job easier. You know, De Gea is more active off his line, and we saw it with Henderson last year. Henderson wanted to be active off his line, but he got himself in trouble a couple of times because he's come in for balls, and then Lindelof was very... I definitely remember it last year. You know, just put the centre-backs there. It's difficult for a keeper to come for balls when their centre-backs are very close to them. And last season there was a couple of times when Henderson was eager to come and then Lindelof was close by and it became a bit of a, oh, is he going to get there? Much easier for a goalkeeper to be a sweeper keeper when their centre-backs are a long way from them because they know that there's that gap and they can judge the flight of the ball and they know they can run at it. But when the centre-backs are closer to them, that's when the mistakes can happen because the centre-backs are thinking, is the keeper going to come? But then the goalkeeper's thinking, well, I think the centre-back's going to deal with that, and you're in a no man's land. Playing a higher line actually makes it easier for everybody. Makes it easier for the goalkeeper, makes it easier for the centre-backs. And Varane allows us to do that. And of course, when Lindelof was in the team, Wan-Bissaka was doing a lot more of this. He doesn't need to do that anymore, and we're starting to see that. So, yeah, Varane has changed a lot. Henderson was eager to impress Idisu. And he's good. He's good at he's good on the ball. He's quick off his line. But as we're seeing with De Gea, so is he. So what I'm saying is it was problematic last year to be able to do that because you think about the Wolves game when De Gea came running out of his box from nowhere and cleared it and got Fred out of trouble. Last season that might not have happened. But yeah, the high line, it's well worth a mention because we mentioned it so much last season and we mentioned it when we bought Varane. But I think now that Varane's come in, it's probably not getting mentioned as much because a lot of people are just like, yeah, that's what happens when you buy Varane. We saw it with Bay as well. You put a quick centre-back next to Maguire and it's let's get the line up. Love your videos. I hope Donny plays tonight, says your boy. I'm so excited for tonight. I really am. I really hope that Donny does start. Definitely really do hope that Donny starts in that game. And, maybe he will, maybe he won't. But above all things, I just want to see Ronaldo as well playing and scoring goals, and I want to see us play some good football. I think confidence is brimming within the club at the moment, and I think that we need to keep that building. I did promise to come back on the Mason Greenwood thing. Now, look, little context here. FIFA football game is the biggest football game in the world and has been for a long time. It doesn't matter whether you play the game or not. If you don't play the game and you don't understand computer games, FIFA is the most important football game in the world. It's the biggest one. Players are holding cards up of their ratings, this, that, and the other. Everybody knows about FIFA. So they do their player ratings. The new game is out in a couple of weeks. They do their player ratings and they've come out. Now, people will say, well, it's only a computer game, but they are quite significant because it is the number one computer game. Everybody takes notice of it, and it just exposes the people who do the ratings on and how much are they actually watching football. Now, I was moaning the other day because basically Ronaldo's been downgraded. He's now the third best player in the game, behind Lewandowski, who's 92. I don't think Lewandowski's better than Ronaldo, and I think that's a bit of a joke. Ronaldo shouldn't have been downgraded to 91. He had a very good season for Juventus last year. Juventus didn't. Bruno's 88, Sancho 87, Pogba 87, Varane 86, Rashford 85, Maguire 84, Shaw 84, and De Gea 84. I think they've got it wrong with De Gea. I think, again, have they watched United? Because De Gea last season had a good season, and against Rome in the Europa League semi-final, I think that was one of the best goalkeeping performances I've seen. So I think De Gea is way too low. Wan-Bissaka 83, Martial 81, Fred 81, McTominay 80, Lingard 79, Greenwood 78. So I think Greenwood 78 was trending this morning. Daniel Kirk says 84 for David. Sorry, what? I don't know what Edison and Allison are, but I think David De Gea's score is a joke. Love your content as always. Can you shout out my mates Avram and Joel? Says Trouble Reckon. Thank you very much for the super chat there. I got a feeling Ollie will start Bay and Varane at centre back. Also, Delo will get a start along with Lingard. Van der Beek may start, says Sumyam. I don't think we'll see that many changes. And Aditi says, I feel we still played a lot of sideways passing versus Newcastle. Yeah, these are all things we've got to work out with as well. But Fred's 81. Fred's actually brilliant in FIFA. You know, he's a very good player in FIFA. But Mason Greenwood at 78, and I think people like Foden are well into the 80s, and I think Mason Mount's well into the 80s. I think that De Gea should be an 88. Alisson and Edison are 89. That's a piss take, isn't it? It really is a piss take. But Fred is 81. Mason should be 82. That's where he should be. That's exactly where Mason Greenwood should be. 82. 78 is just bloody ridiculous, you know. And the thing that annoys me about it is, and people are saying Saka's 77, but well, I think that's wrong as well. But the thing about with Mason Greenwood as a United fan is that, and look, let's take it away from the score for a moment because it does highlight the issue. Mason Greenwood's been banging goals in for United now for a good 2 years, quite consistently, and I think that, you know, it's just ridiculous that a player of that quality doesn't actually get the not the reward, but the understanding, I suppose, the credit that he deserves. It's almost like they're treating him like a player that's still, you know, he's only played a couple of games for United. His potential. He's actually very, 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 very good, and it's not a new thing. He's been doing it. Recognition is the word. Appreciation is the word. Yes. Like, he's been doing it for a long time. He's been doing it for 2 years consistently, playing for Manchester United and scoring goals out of nothing. You could argue that in the last 18 months, he's been more impactful and important for United than Marcus Rashford. Now, some people would say that's controversial. I would say, you know what, it's just dropped in my head. I think I'm right. And I think that's because Marcus Rashford's been struggling with injuries. So I think the Mason Greenwood score is wrong. I think he should be well in the 80s. But is this not a wider issue that people still treat Greenwood like he's a kid? And I don't think people in the United fan base do, but maybe the media in the wider footballing world still think he's a breakthrough player that's a kid. Well, of course he's a kid at 19, but he's not a kid in relation to what he's actually achieving. every week he's making things happen. At the weekend, Ronaldo's first goal is because of Greenwood. The reason we beat Wolves was because of Greenwood. Like, he's making things happen on a weekly basis. That is a maturity level that is beyond a breakthrough player, beyond a player that's 78 and might be, he's already delivering as a FIFA player, if you want to use that, well into the 80s. I'm not saying he should be 89 or anything like that, but he should be an 82. But, I think it was an interesting point to bring in, because I think beyond the computer game, and obviously a lot of people don't give a shit about the computer game, but I do think that this is a scary sort of example of how he probably isn't getting the appreciation he deserves when he is a generational talent and he is actually delivering. Like, Pepe would love the stats that Greenwood's got. Pepe cost what, £74 million, and Arsenal fans still rate him. Is he delivering week in, week out on that right hand side like Greenwood does for us? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, he actually is delivering. He's not potential, he's delivering. Of course he is potential in the sense that he's going to get better and better, but he's delivering as he is now. He's Postman Pat. Do you think Chelsea's Mendy 83 rated was a robbery? Says Lucas. Well, I haven't looked at any other players really, to be honest with you. Ivana says, just picking up on that, Galactic Sabres said, I also noticed Shaw pushed up in the middle. It allowed Pogba to push up and keep Matic and Shaw at CDM. Look, I think in certain games, especially when you're in the security blanket of Old Trafford against a team like Newcastle, then you can make little tweaks like that, like you've said. And a lot of people have mentioned this, that, this wasn't the starting lineup, was it, really? Well, no, it was. Pogba did push forward. Luke Shaw was dropping into these areas. And basically, that's because you're playing Newcastle. Maguire can move there. You've got Matic who can drop in there. And Luke Shaw can push forward like he did. Now, you're not going to do that at Anfield. You're not going to do that at the Etihad. You're probably not going to do it at the Emirates. And you're probably not going to do it at Spurs. But these are in-game things that can definitely help. And you're right. You're absolutely right. He sort of did play, like Adisu says, Luke Shaw sort of played like an inverted fullback. The way he drove through for Ronaldo's second goal, he was basically almost in the Pogba position as a box-to-box midfielder driving forward. And that's about in-game exploitation, and I like that. And that's a development in coaching. And that's not Luke Shaw deciding he's going to play that role. That's Luke Shaw being told he can go and play that role, and he did it very, very well. So that's coaching for you, and we're going to have to find ways to be like that. But it's great that we're noticing things like that, because I think last season we were so rigid. We were a rigid back six, and we didn't really support the attack. And even, I know it's only one game against Newcastle, but there were things like that happening that we noticed that were a bit unorthodox. But that's not unorthodox for Liverpool. If you watch Liverpool, you'll see Trent in that situation. You'll see Robertson in that position, because it's in-game management to go, right, go and exploit that space. They're not really covering that space. Let's go for it. Luke, you've not really got a right winger who's near you. Push him out, push him forward, push him back. And I think that's very important. And that's how you create spaces. And that's how you end up creating chances for Ronaldo, because that Newcastle midfield would be like, might be all right. We've got Bruno, we've got Pogba, we've got Matic. Hold on a minute. Why is Luke Shaw running through the midfield? Because we've seen that space and we've exploited it. That's what top level coaching is. It's in-game management. You can spend all week on that Newcastle game going, right, with this is how they're going to play. This is how we're going to set up. This is what we're going to do. But the game kicks off. I was coaching a game last season, actually, and straight away in the first 2 minutes, they had this midfielder that was dominating. So I took one of our players who was playing as a left midfielder, who's like really good, tenacious player, and I said, forget the left wing, we're going to lose this game. That player's absolutely dominating. I want you to go and man mark them and sit on them. Not literally sit on them, although it would be effective. They went on them, they man marked them, they actually had a better game than them, and we won 3-1. So, in-game management, and I think that's what we did with Luke Shaw. We saw something and we're like, let's exploit it. And that's really important, and that's a development in coaching. You don't just coach your team all week and go, this is how we're going to play. In the game, you've got to be looking for opportunities to go, right, let's change it. The way they're set up, there's a real space there that we can exploit. And I think we've got to do that, definitely. Mark, what signal would it send if Fred starts after multiple horrible performances? Armesh, I expect Fred to play. He's a favourite of Ollie, and I do expect him to play. Hi Mark, wondering on your opinion on Chris Wood, the New Zealand icon to Man United, says Will Maloney. Wood! Can you imagine Wood and Ronaldo? See, Woody. No, I don't think he will ever play for anybody better than Burnley, to be honest with you. Ji-sung Park was a fantastic player, Najib, and Mbappe is overrated for my liking. You know what? Mbappe will leave PSG because he's probably realised, in all respect, what he's doing at PSG. I think Messi's the greatest player in the world with Ronaldo, but with all due respect, he's gone part-time, hasn't he? He's like that person. I mean, many of you probably don't work, but when I used to work in the office environment, you'd get people who sort of get into their late 50s and they could probably retire because they've got their pension and that, but you know, they're in a position of financial security. So what they do is they end up working 2 or 3 days a week. Still doing the same job, but they work 2 or 3 days a week. They've gone part-time. You know, they're on the first step into retirement. And I think that's what Messi's done by going to PSG. He's become a part-time footballer. Now, people will hate this, and I like Messi. I think he's amazing. But I think going to play for PSG, and this is why Mbappe wants to leave, you're a bit of a part-time footballer because, yeah, you do get a few difficult games in the French League. And the Champions League, you get difficult games, but it's not the intensity of a Premier League, is it? It's not the intensity of a La Liga. And, you know, for Messi and Mbappe, the Champions League this week, they'll be buzzing. And when they're playing like the Monacos and the Lilles, they'll be buzzing. But most of their games in that French League are not difficult games. And you know, it's another feather in the cap of. I'm not saying he's a part-time footballer in relation to he's not a good footballer, but I think by going to the French league, you become a bit of a part-time footballer. And you know, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I think Ander Herrera became a part-time footballer as well because you're not playing intense games week in, week out. You're not playing in a competitive league. That is not a competitive league. I don't care what anybody says. It's not. Messi's way better than that league, but in relation to a Champions League side, what a team they've got. But they're playing part-time football because after the season, you know, they could do it with one leg, hopping on one leg. But yeah, I think it's and again, look, it's another feather in Ronaldo's cap, isn't it? You know, he's playing in one of the most intense leagues in the world full time. So I don't know why I came on to that. Oh yeah, Mbappe. I think that's why Mbappe wants to leave PSG. He's a young lad who has spent all his career playing in the French league, and I think he wants to play in a league now where he can, you know, play in a competitive league. A lot of people get on Mbappe's back, but I actually applaud him because he could easily sign a new contract at PSG, earn more money than he can earn anywhere else. But you know, he's a youngster who wants to play in a competitive league, and I applaud that. So definitely. With the quality of our players, it should be an easy game, but games are not won on paper, says David. I don't want it to be an easy game. I want this game to be competitive, and I think it will be competitive. I expect us to win. I've gone with a 4-0 win, but I think a 4-0 win will be an impressive win. I don't think it's a walk in the park. I don't think it's an easy game at all. I think they're an experienced Champions League side, and I think that they will be well organised, and I think they will give us a game. But we might steamroller them because we're a very good side. You know, we've got to start realising we're a very good side. And if he sets that midfield up in a way that... I mean, imagine if he does play Van der Beek and Matic, or he plays Van der Beek and Pogba or something like that, something that we're not expecting. Is there a weakness in that team? I certainly think Lingard's going to start, by the way, definitely. I've read the Super Chats, thank you. I'm not reading the one about... that because I'm sure it's a made up name. PA says Donny must start today, otherwise his United career is over. He deserves a start. Please bring back the chart show. You've been promising us since January that you will be. Don't be like the Glazers. Yeah, but you know, the chart show though, it's a bit of a pain in the arse to do. I am going to bring it back. I will bring it back. Let me write it down. It's a bit of a cult show, the chart show, but it does deserve to come back. You're right. Delo and Lingard will start, says Arrest. Hi Mark, do you think Ronaldo could win a Ballon d'Or at United, says Lewis. Well, I love that question. I love that super chat. Very, very good. I think for Ronaldo to win a Ballon d'Or at United, I think this is a brilliant question. Can Ronaldo win a Ballon d'Or at Manchester United? Smash a like on the video if you want the chart show, and if we get over 3,000 likes before I go off live, then I'll do it. You'll never do it. It is a made up name, Rupert. That's why I don't read it out. If I don't know who the player is, I'm not going to read it out. So I'll research it later. But let me go back to the Ballon d'Or thing. I think this is a great question. Do you think Ballon d'Or Ronaldo can be won at Manchester United? Well, the honest answer is yes, because he's won them before. He can win it, and he's in the hardest league in the world. The Premier League is the best league in the world at the moment, bar none. If he's the Golden Boot winner and United do well, he can win the Ballon d'Or. Now, the do well bit for me is the big thing. To win the Ballon d'Or, we're going to have to win the Premier League or the Champions League. And I think we're certainly going to have to go deep in the Champions League. I suppose people would say, well, if we don't win a trophy, could he win it? If he scores more goals than anybody in the Premier League this season, and United get to the semi-final of the Champions League, he might win it. He's going to have to score more goals than everybody, though. If we win the Champions League and he scores a lot of goals, he might win it. But we're going to have to do things that we haven't done for the last 9 years. We're going to have to be in a title race, and we're going to have to go deep in the Champions League. And he's going to have to score a lot of goals. But he could do it. He definitely could do it. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. I don't think you've hit your 3,000 likes, so I don't think we're going to get that. But it will be good for Sancho to get experience with this team. Yeah, I'm massively excited about the game today. We're going to be live at about 4:30. I suppose it'll be about 4:30, won't it? 4:45, something like that. Yeah. Watch along. So make sure you tune in for that. I am going to be on Twitch this afternoon playing a bit of FIFA as well if anyone wants to join me for that. And yeah, very, 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 very excited to watch the game. Very, very excited tonight. So make sure you tune in for another watch along. See you later.